Well, I was going to do my video about my paddle tournament, and I was editing half of it, and I needed to finish the second half because it was the second day. And I had a game in the morning, and I got on my motorcycle like at 9 a.m. Sunday. I rode the streets. There was a marathon, and people were finishing a marathon, but the streets were weirdly quiet. And when I was riding my moto, I passed these three pickup trucks that were crashed into each other, and all kinds of police were surrounding it. And I was like, yeah, didn't think about it too much because you see stuff in Mexico. Mexico's Mexico. And I get to the paddle tournament, there's games going on, but for the number of courts, they just weren't filled. And I talked to my buddy who's running the tournament, and I was like, what's up? And he showed me this video, and I'll show you right here. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? And I saw when I came in that it was already burned down. And he was like, dude, you haven't seen social media, man. There's like a narco war, or they captured there was no information released at that time. And I was like, oh, and I showed up. I thought my game was at 10, but it was at 4:30. So I was like, well, I'm going home. I'll come back later. And he's like super stressed because, everything he's dealing with. So I went home, got on social media, started going down the rabbit hole, find out El Mencho got captured. They didn't say killed yet. And shit got crazy. Everybody started circulating videos, crazy videos. I actually have one. I live in Providencia. I have one 3 blocks from my house. Here it is right here, a little bit of it.
¿Qué están haciendo? ¿Ellos son los malos?
Son del medio, güey. Ellos corrieron.
Son del medio maratón.
No mames. ¿Y esos de allá, güey? No, esos son polis, güey. No, esos tienen las manos arriba. Ah, güey, esos tienen las manos arriba. Güey, no mames, los tienen con las manos arriba, güey, esos güeyes. Güey, tienen chalecos, güey. Los tienen rodeados ya, güey.
For the whole day yesterday, we're in the middle of the war zone here. Where it went down, where they captured and killed them, was 2 hours from here. And they activated all the cartel cells here. Because all of a sudden, there's just groups of motorcycles going everywhere throughout the city, burning buildings, shooting cops, craziness, absolutely craziness. And so I sat at home. Pretty much they announced that everybody had to stay inside. From my balcony, I could see pillows. What are they called? Pillows? That doesn't sound right. Of smoke coming up. I can't even think of the word now. Everywhere throughout the city, because I can see 360 degrees from the front of my building and the back of my building. And it was just constantly figuring out what's going on. The news finally came out that he got killed, and it was scary. It was scary for the first time. Like, I didn't want to go out in the streets. I just did a video like a week and a half ago talking about, hey, is Mexico safe for foreigners? And absolutely, 100% it's safe for foreigners. But when you have an incident like this, you're looking at it from the outside. The media portrays it from the States. I know it's crazy. I had friends calling me up like, bro, are you okay? Are you this and that? The interesting aspect of it is that there's been no reports of actual civilians getting killed. I'm sure there has, and I'm sure there was. But we haven't heard of anything. And usually that information circulates as well. And it was mostly just that specific cartel versus the government and the police, state, federal, military, municipalities. So yeah, it was all day lockdown yesterday. But then the violence and the criminal activity stopped around late afternoon. And during the night, I saw some videos of road blockades, cars being burned. Oh, the biggest thing what they do here is the threat against civilians here was people that were out on the streets. The cartels they came out of nowhere with freaking guns that looked like straight from Call of Duty. I've never even played that game, but I imagine like those futuristic, unrealistic looking guns that you only see in video games. And they would come off their motos and get with another car and stop other cars and make the people get out and then they would just turn those into the middle of the street, like two cars going perpendicular to the street, and just set them on fire. They would go to the gas stations, hold up the guys at the gas stations, make them pump the gas into their little water bottles or whatever. Insane. But for the most part, the criminal activity stopped during the evening, and it got so quiet last night, man. It was insane. It was scary. Like, I was down here for COVID, and the whole world went through COVID, and it was way more quiet than COVID ever was. Not one car was on the street. So you could see the streets where I live from my balcony, and it was just creepy. And luckily I live in a building where it's very, very safe, and we have a lot of amenities. So like, I went down to the pool and the gym area, and it was just packed like a party. But a lot of people throughout the cities, everything closed. And they announced yesterday they announced that today all the businesses would be closed, nothing would be open, schools canceled and stuff like that. And there's people that couldn't get water or couldn't get food, and that's a scary situation. And I don't even know how, like, if people had emergencies and, you know, there's the elderly had any type of medical issues, I don't even know if the hospitals were open. There's reports fake reports that the airport got held up, but it was a false alarm. It was more of people coming from the roads leading to the airport that went there for refuge. This morning, again, the streets were dead. I was getting so antsy. I was just waiting to see some people out in the streets, and I have a motorcycle, so I was kind of hesitant and a truck. So those are the two things that they identify narcos with, riding the motorcycles and the trucks. And I didn't want to go on the streets for that reason. I didn't want to just be misidentified. And other than that, like, felt no fear. If I had like a little Honda Accord, I'd have been smashing everywhere, or my electric scooter. But so slowly but surely, people have been coming out in the streets. Oh, look, it's the first restaurant or little cafe that I've seen open. And slowly but surely, the businesses are opening, more cars. But this is a Monday, and you can see behind me. And usually Mondays, all this area would be fucking packed with traffic. I mean, not like congested, like crazy, but like, dude, hustle and bustle. Talking to everybody, you know, that lives here, it's just interesting because they're like, oh, this is different than what happened when they captured Chapo Guzman, because that opened up for new cartels to come in, and they had wars between them and stuff like that, or something like that. And it's fine because now they're just going to put the next person in charge, just more against this cartel, against the government. And it was said with such like normalcy that it was just like, okay, yeah, this is life here. And that's sad to see because, I mean, God, dude, it's the only country in the world that's controlled by a cartel through the government. The people aren't free here, you know? Like, you have that underlying fear of just the cartel everywhere. And again, as a foreigner, I don't feel that as much. I don't have any of the, I don't know, just the connection. I don't know. I just feel like, and maybe I'm ignorant to it, but I feel like there's some kind of agreement between the government and the cartel not to go after foreigners because it's bad for business. I mean, I think the second highest GDP for Mexico is tourism. But yeah, it's sad to hear that because I feel like, you know, the people are powerless. Even if they unite as a whole country, they don't have the arms here because guns are illegal. Yet there's probably more guns here and crazy fucking guns. I mean, grenade launchers, all that shit, dude. You've seen the videos, than any other country in the world. So it's kind of ironic that guns are illegal, but there's probably more guns here than any other country. And so the people can't unite and fight for them, defend themselves. So when I think, I'm not a gun person, but when I think of like, you know, what amendment is it? The right to bear arms. I think it's the Second Amendment. I don't know, dude. I need to get up on my Constitution. But now I feel that being down here, and I feel for the people. And the only way to change things, I mean, the people just either adapt, accept, don't do anything out of fear of retaliation. Powerless, absolutely powerless. Because through the government down here, there's corruption top to bottom. And the only way it would change, I think, is if you have somebody like that El Salvadorian president, Bukele, whatever, come in and put in order. But to get to that point, somebody would have to campaign. And a person like that would campaign out here would get killed, because it happens to a lot of politicians out here in their own cities, counties, and states that are campaigning, that if they're not on the side of the cartels, you know, they get mopped up. Damn, I'm out of breath. One day, taking off the gym, man, this altitude out here, I'm a mile high. Guadalajara is a mile high above sea level. That's my excuse. So anyway, I don't see change happening. Also, the other interesting thing is I've had conversations in the past and with Mexican friends here, that when you talk about the complex reality here, they tend to always end with somehow blaming the United States. Oh, well, it's the United States' drug problem. If there wasn't such high demand states, well, yeah, you could look at it like that. But at the end of the day, hey, why does it have to come from Mexico? You know, why can't it come from a different country? Shut it down here. Yeah, the States is always gonna, and there'd be just as big of a drug problem here if it was accessible and there was a big enough demographic with the money to be able to afford the drugs. I mean, that's the reality here. I've seen it. I socialize in the affluent society here, and there's a lot of drugs that go around. But what else? To me, that's just a poor justification of the real problem here, is just pointing the finger at another country or saying, but this, but that. Yeah. And I mean, I'm going through that myself. I used to blame other people for some of my problems until I look inward. I not figured out, but I started working on all my problems to get better for myself, because you can only control what you can control, right? And the other big thing is like, oh, well, United States, where do you think we get all the guns from? Okay, well, at the same time, have you ever gone from, I used to live in San Diego and pass down to Tijuana all the time, and you could just drive right through the border, never get stopped. Yeah, random stops, but like they got their whole freaking, what is it called, network of infiltrating or bringing guns and money too as well. So it's like, okay, you could tighten up the borders coming into the country with the money as well. The amount of money that is powering these cartels is just making them richer and richer, and money makes you more powerful. One of the other things that my friends have talked to me about or have said is like, oh, but they kind of do some good things too. You know, they put a lot of the money into the little towns of pueblos and fix the streets and improve schools. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? That's the justification. That's you're turning your blind eye, you know, and saying, yeah, and that's how they win influence in all these little smaller towns and get more and more powerful. So it's pretty, well, I'll say sad, but also interesting, because I like to look at, you know, from the outside, see different people's perspective on things. And when you're in it and it's normal for you your whole life and nothing's been different, you learn to accept, and you learn to, in a sense, you're not brainwashed, but manipulated into the reality of what's going on. One of the other things I always argue is like, okay, well, obviously your country needs help. Why wouldn't you ask for help or accept the offer from the United States to come in and help with these problems? And it's always, again, a justification. Oh, well, the CIA funds all this stuff, and they have, you know, like some deep state agreement about this and that, and we'll fix our own problems. We don't need help from the outside or anything like that. And it's crazy to me. It's like, dude, Mexico could be such a freaking beautiful, amazing country, even more than it is right now. Because if you got rid of that, so much foreign investment will come in here. So many more opportunities for the current businesses, small, medium, and large businesses. I mean, I've seen American car companies leave Aguascalientes and take their production elsewhere, and Tesla was supposed to have some big things. And I've heard that these big companies, foreign and domestic, get taxed by the cartel, get extorted by the cartel. So, and not to mention all these small businesses that are absolutely powerless. And I'm opening up a hair clinic in 2 months, and has it changed anything for me? I mean, it's a blip on the map. Like, maybe it's going to take a little more time to get going and ramp up the because we're going to market towards Americans and Canadians, and now they have a renewed fear of coming back down here. Again, I feel safe. I'm walking around the day after. The streets are empty. We're supposed to be sheltering in place, but I don't really have I just don't have the fear being down here of anything's going to happen to me. I mean, I'm not super ignorant, like anything can happen to anybody anywhere, but I feel safe. I feel 100% safe. Tons of cops are driving by, looking at me like, what the fuck you doing? So anyway, I wish Mexico would, the people combined with the government, get their shit together and try to reach the potential of what this country can be. Man, I've seen so much growth down here. So beautiful. It's so fun to live in Mexico. The people are so nice, so welcoming. I've had more amazing experiences in my short time in Mexico than I have probably the whole rest of my life combined. So, and I appreciate it. I owe a lot to Mexico, and I'm not gonna leave. I might split time. I've been talking about moving to Spain just because I'm trying to run away from my problems, but that's a whole nother other story. But I'm working on that too. What else? So anyway, just wanted to put this video out there, kind of give you a glimpse of ground zero for this whole little narco war that's going on right now in Guadalajara. Definitely shootings in my neighborhood, in every neighborhood throughout Guadalajara. And now it just seems like it never happened. I know that I have a couple friends that told me they were stuck outside the city and they drove back this morning and all the blockades were removed, but still drove by. One came from Colima, like 2 hours away, and said he drove by like 20 burnt down cars or buses. Apparently the airport's open now because I have a friend that has a flight to the States tomorrow, but there's still no Uber service. It's interesting, a lot going on. Again, the saddest thing is that the people just have accepted the reality here. And I don't know how long they'll accept it. I don't know what has to happen. But I hope change does happen soon. And I think there is a possibility for it. But again, with any other government, what they do, you always have two parties. And you get those parties, the people on each party to fight against each other. So divide and conquer, right? The art of war. So that they won't come together to form a strong, what am I looking for? Buenas tardes. To unify as one, to be able to see the whole picture instead of just being divided. As a matter of fact, I've been affected by businesses as well, or closure of businesses. This is my gym studio up here. Pumped bars and booty, and we're closed today. So, I mean, it's one day out of the month, but still, you know, for small businesses, every peso, every peso matters. Every day open matters. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Check back soon.